keep calling out. The wind starts to howl loud for the moon. I'm reaching out for you underground. Am I allowed?
So what's up, everyone? Welcome back to your channel, Brighter Life Institute. I am Alicia. I want to talk to you today about the passive-aggressive behavior and how this reaction, this behavior is very much linked to the emotion of fear and rejection and judgment to express your anger. For this month of January 2024, we are exploring the different aspects and side of the most powerful emotion of all in all human is the emotion of anger. This outcast, badly labeled in our society emotion, is one of the most important emotions that humans need to find a way to trust, to express, to respect for themselves, and to release. This is one of the emotions you don't want to play around with, believing that because you are not showing any anger, because you are so good to bury it in, for those of you that are people pleaser, that you are doing a good job, you are not affected. Make no mistake about it. The emotion of anger and its energy is one that cannot be pushed down in any way. It is one that until you express it and address it properly in its proper rights, will not go away by himself. Some people keep this energy in them undetected sometimes because they are so used to push it down, smile to please the world and those around them, when inside they are boiling of anger, but they are fearful most of the time of the consequence to show it, or the consequence and the inability to not able to stop it, to control it if they express it. So today we are very much going to discuss what is it, the passive-aggressive behavior in somebody. Passive-aggressive behavior has two kind of type out there. One, the passive-aggressive behavior of somebody that they are upset very much. Passive-aggressive behavior is very much belonging to the expression and the emotion of anger. But these people, for some reason, maybe because when they, as a child, showed that they were upset, they were told that they are the villain, that this is not a good behavior, or they found themselves in a bigger trouble, in violence sometime, for showing that they were not happy. So they have learned to keep this anger inside, and they have learned, and many people have learned this when they were a child, to find other way to express the anger or by not being detected that they were upset. As I previously mentioned, there is two types out there that have been described as passive-aggressive behavior. One of them is the behavior as I just mentioned. And the second is also behavior, but recognized as a mental illness. Both are not too far from each other. As the name said, it is a passive, very aggressive behavior. It's hidden, it's covered. The aggressivity, the hostility in the passive aggressive behavior is hidden and is one that is can be difficult to detect and to confront. I used to have an ex-boyfriend that unfortunately suffered of this. This destroyed our relationship. We didn't have other problem apart this. The worst things in the situation is he was not aware that he had a problem of hunger, as all his life, since he was a child, a young boy, he were told to not get upset. First, my ex-partner, as a child, his mother raised him alone as his father have left them. He never met his father. His father never got in touch with them. Then his mother was dating a guy that was extremely violent. That made his son, my ex-partner, get really upset, but confronting his mom and say, "Mom, it's dangerous, it's not good for you. You have to protect yourself. He's beating you up and also he's beating me up." My ex-boyfriend was part Russian and Lithuanian, and he grew up in the Soviet Union, and his family went through this very harsh economical time of the Soviet Union. So they were very poor, and they didn't have much at all. And his mother tried her best to raise him, but his mother also didn't want to hear his son complaining about her partner that were violent toward her and her son. How she resolved the issue with her son to shut him up is to take him to a doctor and giving him medicine to calm him down so he doesn't get upset anymore. When I met my ex-boyfriend, he was 24 years old, and at age 24, he really did not suspect there was something wrong with him. He was a very hard working man, really ambitious, and he was really going high in his career. For some reason, when we got together, everything was okay. But for the first year together, I used, for some reason, to lose it in many things. I mean, I have a bit of temper, but this was not like this. Frustration was just over the roof. I could not detect or understand what was going on, to the point that I tried to fix me. And by doing so, I went to a section of CBT therapy, and I talk about how I feel, because I really were convinced I'm the problem. This is the thing with dealing with somebody that has either the passive aggressive behavior as a mental illness or as a behavior. It's extremely difficult to detect it, and most of the time you will think 100% that you are the problem. So amazingly, I got with a very good therapist that after few sections detected that I was not the problem and that maybe my partner suffer from passive aggressive, or he has a passive aggressive behavior with him. She told me to go home, and when there is something upsetting going on, for me to breathe, to say nothing, no react, and stay silent and to wait. Oh boy, because when this woman told me to do this, I really didn't think at all anything was going to happen. But when I did exactly what she told me to do, I stayed quiet, I did not react. What happened was absolutely astonishing. My boyfriend exploded, and I mean like a bomb, in front of me. He was in a rage, and somehow I did not feel like there's still a problem until this keep happening. I keep holding on my composure, not reacting, and he was losing it more and more, to the point he was afraid to do something to me. That is the reason of the end of our relationship, is this issue with the passive aggressive, with his anger. A passive aggressive person is a person, for some reason, is fearful to express his anger, don't know how to express his anger because he was never allowed to do so, like my ex-partner. And so they go to this childish behavior where they do things badly, or they do things in a way that is going to cause you upset. It's an exchange of energy. He put on you his anger energy, is passed on you, and when you explode, he stay calm. That is the passive aggressive. For example, you have asked your partner to clean the dishes because you always clean the dishes. What happened? Your partner have cleaned the dishes worse than when it was dirty. It's badly done. You go there and you say it's done, and you look at the dishes. The dishes is not clean. So many people will stay calm and will say, okay, this is not clean, can you do it again? But when many situations like that happen, you start to get frustrated into you. Another example is when you have an exam paper that need to be sent, and you're going to send it, and your partner is like, no, I'm going out, let me do that for you, please let me do it. And you trust that partner and you give him the paper, and then later you find out that you did not pass the exam because your exam paper will never receive. Now you're asking your partner, what happened? My exam paper, they said they never receive it. And there your partner say, oh, I'm sorry, I forgot. Again, one time this kind of thing happen, it's frustrating. But the more this keep happening, the more you are going to lose it. Trust me, you are going to lose it, because the person, you have asked them to do something, and every time it's done so badly, and it's done to set you up. You're being set up to losing it, to be aggressive. You have been set up to be upset. And when you're losing it, the person somehow is calm. And they are doing like they don't understand why you're losing it, why you're upset. And that making you losing it more. And they will say that you're mistreating them, you're abusing them, you are unfair, you are accusing them of no reason, despite that this situation with forgetting things, doing things badly, not doing things, or it's a behavior that it's meant to make you upset. It's a passive, aggressive, very aggressive behavior that is detriment to you, and you're going to feel it, and you're going to feel the burn. And there's no many people out there that will not explode, especially when it's a family member, a friend, and an intimate partner. This is the reason why passive aggressive behavior is very difficult to detect, because a person will deny that they are doing those things badly, those forgotten things, they're not participating, they are doing things in the goal to annoy you, to get you upset. They are upset, they are not showing it, and they are doing things to get back at you, and you know it, but they deny it. This straight away is one of the most toxic relationship that you can have. For example, you have a parents, you have asked them to send you something, and you say, take a picture of the thing, the letter, the document. And what they do, they send you the picture of the document in a way that you cannot read it. You cannot read it. So you tell them kindly, like, okay, thank you to have sent me that, but I cannot read it. I don't know. I cannot see anything in the document. And you wonder yourself, did you not see that this is not clear? And you tell them about not getting upset. Can you please send it me again, because it's not clear? And they do it again until you either give up to ask again help from them, or you explode because you know they are taking the piss. And in that moment you confront them, they will deny that there is anything wrong, making it now a name emotional abuse. Passive aggressive people are one of these people that will transform any relationship to a very toxic and abusive relationship. These people know exactly what they are doing, but they are not aware, many of them, like my ex-partner, that they are doing those things badly. They are letting you down. They are provoking you to lose it, to get upset, because they are upset. This is their way to get back at you for something they feel you have done to them. In a moment, that you are losing it, you are expressing the anger for them. And this is the reason why they are very calm when you're losing it, because you are showing that you have no control in yourself, that you are emotional, you have an anger problem, and all this time you are not aware that the person that really have an anger problem is the one that is in front of you, that is provoking you, that is going to sabotage many things between the two of you and he personally to you. So you get upset. The goal is to get you upset, the more and more worked up, because this is their way to feel satisfied, to release the anger. It's messed up. Somebody is using another to express the anger for them. And if you think about it, the strategy is safer. Instead, you confronting somebody, let's say that you are upset to somebody in power, your boss or a police officer, I don't know. Instead, you confronting them because you're fearful of the consequence. You are doing things undercover to get them upset. So if they get upset, because they will get upset, you don't look like you have any problem. You are protected and they are losing it, and they may get in trouble because they have lost it. They have lost it. You can call the cops on them and say, look, he's violent with me and I haven't done nothing. When all this time you've been doing things to provocate them. The same thing if you know that your husband is jealous and possessive. He get easily worked on. You start to text with another guy or flirt in front of his face, and when he loses it, you're then telling everybody, look, my husband been abusing me at home. He is verbally abusive. He has physically attacked me, and me, I'm the victim. When you are dealing with somebody that using passive-aggressive behavior toward you, you need to get in control of yourself very quickly by not reacting. The key is no reaction. You pull away and you stay nice, but you also have to stay firm and trust yourself. When they do something and they try to manipulate you, because they're also very manipulative people, they will try to make you believe that what you think is not what is happening, what you feel is wrong. It will invalidate your reality and try to make you believe that there is nothing wrong here. They are not upset about anything and you are getting upset for something. In my experience, dealing with a passive-aggressive partner is one of the most deadly relationships that you can find yourself in, as somebody is playing with your emotion. Somebody is manipulating you with your anger. There is nothing more dangerous than this. After some time, you know it's not in your head, and you need to be very skilled to know that it's not in your head, because these people are so good to hide their anger and to get you to lose it, to explode. This is how they get back at you. This is very aggressive. For those that fall in this, you can really get yourself in trouble with the law, because they will pass themselves for a victim. It takes really skillful people to see and to trust themselves, because you lose the sense of yourself. You start to believe that you have a problem, you cannot control yourself, and there is something wrong with you, that you're bad. You start to feel sorry for them, and so you start to accept the bad behavior from that person, because each time they manage to turn the table and to say that you are bad, you are violent, you have a problem, you misunderstand things, you make it up, you getting upset for nothing. This is extremely dangerous, extremely toxic. I mean, from my side, I was quite lucky that I went to a therapist to talk about my problem, and most people don't. They also feel ashamed, because the problem with anger in our society is when we cannot control our temper and our angry burst, we hide it from the world. We don't want to talk about it with our family, our friends, our partner, with nobody. We hide it. We feel ashamed to discuss how we have an issue of anger, that we can raise our voice and we cannot control it. We have a temper. We look like we are violent, and our partner told us you are violent. It is a very tricky situation, as we now are dealing with guilt and shame. Each time that we don't feel okay with feeling upset, we start to pull it down. We start to ignore how we feel. We start to try to look civilized by controlling this angry feeling that we feel. Seriously, this is emotional abuse in its full form. This person have suffered this as a child. They were not allowed to express their anger, and they were fearful of the consequence, to be abandoned, to be punished, to getting themselves in trouble, maybe getting violence from the adult that told them, you don't talk to me like that, you have no right, if you talk again and if you don't do what I ask you to do, you're going to get in trouble. They have learned to link their anger and expressing it to fear, and so they go undercover to express this emotion that were denied to them. Denying somebody anger, the negative feeling in them, is an emotional abuse. You're forcing the person to find other way to express it, as the energy and the emotion of anger is one that doesn't go away until it's been voiced. And the way they voice it, they're using you, the other person, to explode of anger for them, express what they cannot express, and they feel satisfied and at peace. For my ex-partner, when I started to really not react anymore to any of his provocation that he was doing really undetected, he really went through a difficult time, a really difficult time. The relationship we had was a wonderful relationship, but he had to face, and we had to face, that his anger was absolutely uncontrollable, that he needed to go to therapy for a long time, as he did not just have the behavior. Unfortunately, because of the medicine his mother gave him, he was suffering for the mental illness of passive aggressive, and this take a long time to deal with. He wanted to protect me and didn't want me to be around him during this time where he cannot control himself. So a passive aggressive, it's a really big problem. Many people has it. You recognize this behavior. Most of the time, when you ask somebody to do something for you, you see anger come out when the two pillars, trust and respect, have been touched. When you start to believe and notice that every time that you give this person something to do that is important for you, a small task or participation or something, you cannot rely on them, you cannot trust them. You start to have resentment toward that person. All of this is part of the plan. The passive aggressive person, this is the way to get back at you. That you get disappointed, you become resentful, you feel like you're losing it, you feel destabilized, you don't know where you stand, you don't know if it's in your head or if it's really happening. The way to know that you're dealing with a passive aggressive person and it's not just in your head, it's not that you have a problem of anger, it's not that you are crazy, is to remember how was you in the other relationship with others. Did you lose it that easy, that this relationship? How was you before meeting that person? This will give you a very good indication if it is you that is the problem and you need help. And if you think anyway you need help, go get some help. Go to a therapist. It never hurt to do so, but go to a very good one. CBT, Cognitive Therapy Behavior, is one of the best therapy in the world. And if you get to a very good therapist of CBT, they will guide you to recognize this fast. CBT therapy is one that should not take years to get result, as it should try to detect the thoughts, as one little thought is what making all of us miserable in our life, is what is causing issue in your life. A belief, something that happened to you as a child, something that was said to you. In any doubt, look how were you before. And if you in this relationship are exploding more than ever in your life, you suddenly become a very upset and angry, violent or whatever person. Your temper is uncontrollable in this connection. You're likely been involved with somebody that is passively aggressive. From the moment you suspect that, you need to start working on you by keeping your cool. And when something is not right, what is required is not to be silent and just suffer it. You need to address it. You have somebody in front of you that have not been told how to manage their anger and their negative feeling. They feel fearful. Passive aggressive people is truly people that are scared to express and show anger, knowing that you need to take it easy, with kindness, with softness, with the best approach, as sympathetic that you can't. Because if you go to them aggressively, you are doing exactly what other in their life have done to them, they are going to close up and you're going to get more passive aggressive behavior from this person. You need to talk to this person. Tell them how you feel. Listen to what they're telling you. Do not accuse them. Just tell them, listen, I've asked you to clean the dishes. Come with me. Look at the dishes. Tell me honestly, is this clean? Look, we are together and we are here not to annoy each other. You're safe with me. But when you do that, how can I trust you and you're not respecting me? Is this nice? How can we have a good life together if every time I have to tell you that this is not okay? It is upsetting, and maybe you're doing this because you're upset at me. They will deny they are upset at you, but after some time, if you keep it calm, you always keep telling them when it's not good, calmly, softly, kindly, you will see that they will tell you that there's something you did to them. This is the way to express that they are upset. Passive-aggressive behavior. Sadly, are from people that are afraid to show any dislike, that they are not happy. They were told to not show this emotion. They were punished, they were rejected, they were neglected. This is the way to communicate. This is a very toxic way, and I hope for you that are dealing with somebody like that, or maybe it's you, that you are going to catch up very quickly. This, to get better, need somebody very kind, very aware, very on alert, and also with high self-esteem, because you need to trust yourself when that person is telling you that no, they are not upset at you, it's all in your head. You need to be very confident and know, no, this is not me. There's something you're doing here. You did this. This situation will upset anyone. Why you are doing that? And why you're denying that this is not okay? This is how you need to go around this. Passive-aggressive behavior in a partner, in an intimate partner, is extremely challenging. And it can push both of you in the long run to violence, incredible violence. You're dealing with somebody that have not expressed a large amount of anger in them. This is dangerous. Take it easy and make sure as every moment that you can, that you sit down with them, give them attention, show them that you love them, that you are there for them, and they are safe. Safety in the passive-aggressive behavior person is essential. If they feel that you are intimidating them, that you are scaring them, it's not going to work. It's just, you're going to just go into a toxic situation that can become extremely dangerous. So this is the video I wanted to talk to you about today. The emotion of anger bring a lot of problem, and different people have different way to express it, and passive-aggressive behavior is one of them. I thank you today to have watched your channel Brighter Life Institute with me, Alicia. I hope that this video is going to bring you some insight and make you more aware of what is around you, and make sure that you don't beat yourself for nothing, for things that maybe you're pushed to do. Show kindness, sympathy, support and love to each other. I'll see you on the next video. Bye!